Hello, this is Eleanor Hines, North Sound Baykeeper, lead scientist from Resources, talking with John Guenther, site manager with the Department of Ecology. Hi, John. Thank you for helping us with this virtual tour. Before we start with the technical aspects of this tour stop, could you give us a real quick overview of what exactly are the responsibilities of a site manager with the Washington State Department of Ecology?
Sure, and thanks, Eleanor. As the Harris Avenue Shipyard MOTCA site manager for ecology, I'm responsible for overseeing the project's day-to-day compliance with MOTCA and the Sediment Management Standards, or SMS, cleanup regulations. I also manage and track the PLP's agreed order and remedial action grant contract obligations. Basically, I'm a liaison between the state's cleanup regulations and the PLPs and their consultants.
Like many other cleanup sites along the waterfront, this site has been divided into two sections, uplands and sediment. We will discuss the cleanup action for the uplands at this stop and plan for addressing sediment at the next stop. Can you briefly describe the difference between the upland and the sediment areas of this site for us?
The cleanup site is where contamination has been found, regardless of what media it is found in. For example, soil, sediment, groundwater, surface water, and air. The upland portion of the site that is located landward of the ordinary high water mark. The ordinary high water mark is a regulatory boundary delineated by the presence of certain types of vegetation and soil. The aquatic or sediment portion of the site is located waterward of the ordinary high water mark. Although the MOTCA regulations apply to the entire site for compliance with MOTCA cleanup standards, the sediment management standards, or SMS, apply to only the sediment or in-water portions of the site. MOTCA is used to develop cleanup levels for soil and groundwater, and SMS is used to develop cleanup levels for sediment.
It is our understanding that there was legacy contamination found in the soil and groundwater at this site in certain areas. Could you tell us how these contaminants will be addressed in the soil?
Sure. Contaminants found in soil at the shipyard include metals and petroleum hydrocarbon compounds, typical of contaminants found on historic shipyard properties. The contaminated soil will be excavated and probably transported over land for off-site disposal at a permitted facility. The excavations will be filled with clean soil, and the excavation areas will be covered with soil or asphalt.
And what about the contaminants in the groundwater? How will they be treated and monitored to ensure permanent protection?
Contaminants found in groundwater at the shipyard include metals, petroleum hydrocarbon compounds, and methyl naphthalene. Since the groundwater beneath the shipyard has been classified as non-potable, groundwater cleanup levels were developed for the protection of surface water, understanding that the direction of groundwater movement beneath the site is toward the bay. Groundwater monitoring has been and will continue to be conducted along the shoreline of the site to ensure that the groundwater cleanup levels protective of surface water are being met before the groundwater enters the bay.
What about the current buildings and paved surfaces? What will happen to them during the cleanup?
The remaining upland portion of the site, that portion of the site that wasn't already cleaned up as part of the interim action, is relatively unimpeded by any significant existing structures. The existing buildings will remain in place, but where asphalt, concrete, or other materials and debris are encountered, that material will be removed as necessary to accommodate the cleanup.
While the draft cleanup action plan is a very thorough document, and now that we have the draft plan, there may be some more information that needs to be collected to finalize the details for the engineering design report, which is the next step. Can you talk about the further investigations that need to be done?
Following Ecology's responding to comments and finalizing the cleanup action plan, the port will prepare a pre-remedial design investigation, or PRDI, work plan that will identify additional data needs necessary to prepare engineering design plans for the cleanup. The PRDI work may include the collection of additional soil, groundwater, and sediment sample data, hydrologic data, climate data, geotechnical data, and archaeological information.
Thanks so much for joining us on this tour, John. Next, we will learn about the sediment cleanup, so be sure to tune in for more information in Stop 5.